We'll continue study the third chapter of history, that is kinship, caste, and early societies. Beyond birth, resources, and status. The social position of different sections were often shaped by their access to economic resources. The criteria on which property is granted is as follow. One, on the basis of gender. Second, on the basis of Varna. Gendered access to property. The access to resources sharpened the social differences between men and women. And according to Manusmriti, the women were not eligible to claim share in the parental property. The parental property was divided among the sons after the death of the parents, and a special share was allotted for the eldest son. But women could retain the gift they received on the occasion of their marriage as Stridhana. According to Brahmanical text, only occupation prescribed for Shudras was servitude, that is, to serve other three high Varnas. Variety of occupations were assigned to the first three Varnas. The wealthiest people could have been the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. Buddhism recognized that division of society is prevalent in society, but did not regard these as natural or inflexible. They also rejected the idea of claim for higher status on the basis of birth. The Tamil Sangam anthologies illustrate economic social relationship. It is suggested that while there were differences between rich and poor, those who controlled resources were expected to share these resources. That means the people who are rich and who had access to a lot of resources, they need to share the resources with the poor and help the poor and the needy. Explaining social differences, the myth found in Sutta Pitaka suggests the institution of king was based on human choice. Taxes as a form of payment for services rendered by the king. At the same time, it reveals recognition of human agency in creating and institutionalizing economic and social relations. It also recognizes the fact that since human beings are responsible for creation of the system, they could also change it in future. And according to Sutta Pitaka, the king was elected by the people. Now let us study about the historians and the Mahabharata. The elements of consideration for historians while analyzing the text of Mahabharata are as follows. First of all, the language of the text. The language in which it was written was ordinary people's language, or the language that was used by priests and elites of the society. They also analyze the kind of text that is written, that is, whether the text was a mantra or the text was a story. They also analyze the author's perspective of writing the text, or what made the writer to write particular text. And they also find out for whom this text was written to, a date of the composition or the compilation of the text, and the place of composition of the text. And we know that Mahabharata was written in Sanskrit. Sanskrit used in Mahabharata is simpler than that of the Vedas and Prashastis. So that means probably this was better understood by the people. So the next question, who wrote the text? The original story was composed by chariot bards known as Sutas who accompanied the Kshatriya warriors to the battlefield and composed poems celebrating their victories and other accomplishments. And these compositions were circulated orally by people. By 5th century BC, the Brahmins began to write down these stories, and it is also possible that upheaval occurring in social values being replaced by new norms at this time were reflected in Mahabharata. That means Brahmins, while they were writing, they began to add their experiences to these stories so that this would become more attractive to the people of their time. Around 200 CE and 200 CE, worship of Vishnu was growing and Krishna was being identified with Vishnu. And between 200 and 400 CE, sections resembling the Manusmriti were added. Now, all these additions made the text, which started with less than 10,000 verses to 1 lakh verses. And this work is traditionally attributed to sage Vedavyasa. We all know that Mahabharata is written by Vedavyas and other religious stories that are related to the writing of Mahabharata. But we historians look into different angle to find out for what the text was written, why the text was written, and how it was written. Now, the text presented is classified into two sections, one that contains stories, and that is called as the narrative. The other section containing prescriptions about social norms, which is known as didactic. And this section includes stories and narratives containing social messages. Excavations of Hastinapura. The excavations that were done in Hastinapura in Meerut, UP, were conducted by B.B. Lal of Archaeological Survey of India, and it was found the houses of this period were built of mud brick as well as burnt bricks. Now, of this period means the period in which Mahabharata is written. Socket jars and brick drains were used for draining out refuse water. There were terracotta ring wells being used both as wells and drainage pits. Now let us see about Polyandry marriage in Mahabharata. Draupadi's marriage with Pandavas was an example of polyandry marriage. That means a woman having more than one husband. The polyandry marriage in Mahabharata suggests different things. So it may be because of the shortage of women, due to incessant wars, or due to situational crisis, and also that narratives sometimes does not reflect the social realities. It is said Mahabharata is a dynamic text. Why? Mahabharata is considered as a dynamic text because it is written in a variety of languages. And those people who wrote versions of epic added stories originated or circulated in their localities. That means people added their own stories, their experiences with that of original stories, and that became part of Mahabharata. But the central story of the great epic Mahabharata was often retold in many ways. Episodes were depicted in sculpture, painting, drawing, etc. They also provided themes for a wide range of performing arts, plays, dance, and other kinds of narrations. And even today, the story is being told and retold, acted and enacted, and it is part of people's life. Because of that, Mahabharata is considered as a dynamic text. Some of the key words that we come across the chapter: Kula is a Sanskrit text use the term Kula to designate families. Kula means families. Kin, a group of people having a common lineage. Patrilineage. Patrilineage is referred to the tracing of lineage from the paternal side. Matrilineage is opposite of patrilineage. It is referred to the tracing of lineage from the maternal side. Metronyms. The system of deriving names from the mother is known as metronymics. The Satavahana rulers were identified through metronymics. Purusha Sukta. Purusha Sukta of Rig Veda mentions about the division of society into four Varnas. The four Varnas were said to have emanated from the body of Purusha, the Brahman. Vanik, a Sanskrit term used to designate merchants. Hope you might have understood the chapter. I request all of you to go through all the 5 videos and read the text again and again to understand the chapter. Thank you.